I raised my daughter all by myself when my wife left me. And now, since my daughter turned 18, she thinks she can go and find her biological mom and move in with her. You know what? Because we had one argument. And now she's coming to me asking to pay for her wedding, which, by the way, she quoted me $123,000. I never thought I'd find myself writing here, but I could really use some advice. I've been going through a roller coaster and I just need a bit of help on maybe some opinions of my situation. This is a throwaway account, of course, because I don't want anyone connecting the dots. I'm 50. I've been a single father for over 20 years to my daughter Christine, who's 25. Her mother Maria is a year younger than me, and one day decided that she no longer wants to be a mother or a wife, so she just left. Christine had just turned 5 years of age at that point, and we celebrated her birthday with my family, since Maria's family lived out of state. And you guys, here's a bit of context. Maria. See, she never liked my family, and she would say that they were too traditional and boring, unlike her family who were more fun and lively, which I disagreed with. Another reason why Maria did not like being around my family was because she felt that my family preferred my ex-girlfriend over her, something I never understood. Anyways, Maria fell pregnant with our baby girl, and I was super excited about having a girl. Maria, on the other hand, was not as excited because she had really wanted a boy. I was supportive throughout the whole pregnancy, and it even motivated me to work harder. And my hard work paid off because I managed to score a promotion just before she gave birth. We also were able to move into a brand new house. Everything went downhill after Maria gave birth to Christine. Instead of taking her 4-month paternity leave paid, she went back to work after just 6 weeks. On top of going back to work earlier than expected, she packed up more hours at work, which I found very strange. It got so bad that I had to ask my brother to help out with Christine, because Maria would leave her at daycare for the whole day, something which I wasn't comfortable with. Things did not get better when Christine got a bit older. They got worse, and Maria would hardly spend time with her. Instead, she would go out almost every weekend. This caused a lot of friction and tension in our marriage, but I tried my best to make things work. I even suggested therapy, but she wasn't interested. My mother was still helping out with Christine, which I was so grateful for, because I was even busier at work because Maria had stopped contributing to the household bills. See, for Christine's 5th birthday, I decided to throw a birthday party and invited her friends and my family. Maria looked bored and irritated the whole time, and everyone noticed. My last straw was when she shouted at Christine for no reason and made her cry. Once everyone left, Maria and I got into a heated argument. I told her that I was going to sleep in the guest room and that we would talk tomorrow. And that was the last time I saw her. I woke up and found Christine crying, and she told me that her mom had left. I checked our bedroom and all her things were gone. I saw some documents on the bed and they were divorce papers, and my heart shattered into a million pieces. My eyes could not believe what I was reading. Maria had made it clear in all the documents that she wanted her parental rights and responsibilities to be removed, and that she was giving me sole custody of, my daughter. It's been 20 years since we last saw Maria, and being completely honest, life is so much better with her. With her gone. At first, Christine would ask about her regularly, but once she realized that her mother wasn't coming back, she stopped asking, and luckily my mother and sister Alexis were able to play the mother figures in her life. Okay, so now let's come back to the present. I was waiting for Christine at her favorite restaurant, and she had recently gotten engaged to her fiancé Josh. He's 27, and since his parents had paid for their engagement party, I told Christine that I would help out with some of the wedding expenses, because I knew that they were trying to save money to buy a house. I'd raised such an intelligent young lady who was on her way to becoming a doctor. Christine arrived and we had lunch. I noticed that she was a bit off and seemed very nervous. So I asked her, "Christine, honey, what's wrong?" She assured me that everything was splendid, and we headed back to her apartment, and she poured me a glass of my favorite wine. She told me that she had something important to tell me and that I must promise not to freak out. I nearly fell out of my chair when she revealed the shocking secret. She had just told me that she had been chit-chatting and hanging out with her mother. She further explained that it's been going on for about 2 weeks now and they were working on their relationship. What? I was speechless. I asked if she could give me a minute to digest what she had just laid out, and I couldn't believe that Maria is back. First of all, after all these years, I had no idea how to feel. Christine then told me that her mother wanted us all to meet up and have a chat. I told her I would think about it, however we started pleading with me, and I eventually agreed to the meetup. I told myself that at least I would be able to get some answers and finally get the truth. As I was about to head out, Christine told me that I could not go anywhere because Maria was on her way. It was, what? I was taken back, but reminded myself that I was doing it for my daughter. Maria eventually strolled in, and I was a bit shell-shocked by her appearance. She had huge bags under her eyes, and her hair looked dull, and she looked tired. We greeted each other, and she then tells me that I looked good. I didn't know how to react, so I just smiled at her. She asked me what I've been up to, and I told her all about my successful IT career, and she actually looked intrigued and interested. Christine then sat with us and asked Maria to explain to me why she had left all those years ago. Well, she takes a big breath and proceeds to explain. So her reason for abandoning Christine and I was because she couldn't handle being second place in the family, which, to be honest, I didn't understand. She said that she just felt like my family was always comparing her to my ex, and that she was never going to be enough for them. I kept asking myself if she was being serious, but I continued to listen. She then explained that she had gone through postpartum depression, and that was the reason she was not able to bond with Christine as, an infant. I could tell that Christine was believing her every word. Her mother was spilling out, but my gut was just simply telling me over and over that Maria wasn't being truthful. But to keep the peace, I decided to just go ahead and go along with every single thing. And I did. She then asked for my forgiveness, and I told her that it would take me quite a while to actually go and forgive her, as I was going to question her. Christine then told me that Maria was going to help with the planning of their wedding? Well, I was a bit shocked and worried about Christine trusting and allowing her mother back into her life so fully, so quickly, but reminded myself, you know what? Now that I think about it, she is an adult, and I should allow her to make her own choices and decisions. Now, this is where I'm stuck. Am I wrong for feeling the way I do about my ex's wife's return? Do you guys think that we should be allowing her to come back into our lives? This is the same woman that abandoned us for many, many years, and now she wants to be a part of our lives. And does she really believe and think that her apology will fix all the damage that she caused? I don't know how to deal with this, so I can really use some advice. Update number 1. The last 2 weeks have been rather bumpy and a bit hectic. I never thought that it was possible to experience such confusion and disappointment. I was at work when I received a call from Christine. She was asking if I could please check my phone, and I told her I was a bit busy, and instead of being understanding, she starts complaining about how I was making work more of a priority when I had promised to be there for her during this process. Well, I signed and looked down at my phone and saw a quote for $2,500, and I asked her what was this. She told me that the money was for her decor, and I then asked her what's going on with her and my sister, who had promised to do the decor for the wedding for free so that I could pay for the most important expenses. I was gobsmacked with her response. She told me that she wanted proper decor and not the cheap decorations her aunt sells. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. I told her I would think about it, only for her to start blowing up my phone. Christine's behavior was starting to become questionable. I ended up sending her the money for the decor, and she stopped talking to me after that. Normally, she would say thank you, but this time she absolutely said nothing. I started to feel more and more left out of the whole wedding planning. Christine was taking her mom everywhere, and I won't lie, I was starting to feel a bit jealous. I was the one who single-handedly raised, and now she was giving all her attention to the woman who abandoned her? I was getting tired of playing the good boy, but then reminded myself that I was doing this for my daughter and only for my daughter. However, when I brought this up to my sister, she was very annoyed and told me that Christine was probably being influenced by Maria. None of my family members were happy about it, and Maria being back in our life. She then started to remind me about all the times Maria manipulated me into doing things that I didn't want to do. I told my sister that was all in the past and that she should just give Maria the benefit of the doubt. I received a call from Maria after I had left my sister's place. She told me that she was calling on behalf of Christine, which confused me a bit. I asked her what was wrong with Christine, and she said that nothing was wrong. But the wedding stress was starting to get to her. So she was going to help her out a bit more, and she told me that she had sent me a quote, and that was, it was for flowers. I told her I'd send it later, and she told me that she needed to pay the flower lady right now because of how booked she was getting. So I sent the money. She then asked me not to mention that I had sent money for the flowers because she wanted to surprise Christine with her favorite flowers. At first I found it weird that she wanted me to keep quiet about such a thing, but then I found it sweet that she wanted to surprise Christine. I was happy that she was actually trying to work on the relationship with our daughter. Do you guys think that Maria is manipulating Christine? I know her behavior has changed, but don't you think it's bridezilla behavior? I mean, planning a wedding is stressful, so maybe it's causing my daughter to act out. I don't know. Update number 2. Hey, these last few weeks have been brutal. I never thought that my life could change and switch up like this, especially during such an important time in my life. Christine was finally including me in her wedding plans. We had a long phone call the other night, and she apologized for making me feel excluded. So she invited me to view a wedding venue with her and Maria. I was super excited, and we arrived at the venue, and it was absolutely stunning and breathtaking. Christine was telling me all about the venue and how this was the venue she wanted. She explained her vision to me, and I told myself that I would do everything in my power to make my baby girl's vision come true. She deserved it. We were given a tour of the venue, and it was impressive. This place was perfect, and as I was about to ask about the price of the venue, my phone rang and it was work. I excused myself, and once the call was done, I was about to head back inside, and that's when I overheard Christine and Maria. I was heartbroken by what I heard. Maria was complaining and asking why Christine had invited me. Honestly, it was Christine's response that nearly drove me to tears. See, she responded by saying that she only invited me because she wanted me to pay for the wedding and that she could not care less if I was at her wedding or not. She also mentioned how she had not invited any of my family members because of what they had done to Maria, and that they were the reason she grew up without a mother. My heart honestly broke into a million pieces. I couldn't believe that such words were coming out of Christine's mouth. I didn't want them to know, that I heard them, so I left. I simply sent them a text saying that they needed me at work because there was an emergency, and I tried convincing myself that I misheard the whole thing, and that my brain was just playing tricks on me. But the more I thought about it, the more it hurt. Instead of going home, I went to see my mom. I then explained what I had heard, and my mother was extremely disappointed in Christine, but she was not surprised by Maria's behavior. My mother also confirmed that no one from the family had received an invite to the wedding, not even a save the date. Guys, I was absolutely beyond disappointed and angry at this exact moment in time, and I then told my mother maybe I had done a lousy job raising Christine and that's why she was acting this way. My mother almost slapped me and told me that I was talking rubbish. She reminded me of all the sacrifices I made for Christine, all because I wanted her to have a great childhood despite not having a mother. Well, I couldn't believe that I was allowing them to get into my head like that and make me doubt myself. I wasn't the bad guy, but there were bad guys, and it was them, and they deserved to be taught a lesson or two. I told my mother my plan, and she asked if I was sure that I wanted to do this. I was feeling a bit bad, but then I received a text from Christine. She was demanding that I pay for the venue, which totaled up to $100,000. Who would pay so much for a venue? But the message solidified everything. I was going to commence my plan of revenge. Am I wrong for wanting to teach my daughter and her evil mother a lesson? Should I have confronted them there instead of just leaving? What would you have done if you found yourself in my shoes? Update number 3. It's been a couple of weeks, and let me be the first to tell you that the universe has truly been on my side. It's showing me that being a good person has its rewards. Christine and Josh's wedding is in a few weeks, and it's been hectic. I haven't had a proper conversation since we viewed the venue together, but I've been giving paying a chance for her wedding expenses. I've been acting like I'm paying at least for things when I actually haven't. I've also been sending Christine fake invoices and proof of payment. I explained to Christine that she should just send me a list of their outstanding wedding expenses, and that I would directly pay them myself, especially the very expensive expenses like the venue. This made Christine so happy that for the first time since her mother came into our lives, she said, "I love you, Daddy." As much as it warmed my heart, I was still going to teach her a lesson. I was going through the list when there was a knock on my door. This was when I discovered that Maria had not used the money I sent for flowers because Christine had written flowers on the list. I also found out that the flower store written on the invoice Maria sent me did not exist, meaning she created a fake phony invoice. I answered and was shocked to see Maria's distant cousin, Linda. We greeted each other and we sat down by the living room, and I asked what brought her here. She asked if she could have Christine's address, and I raised an eyebrow and asked why. She told me that Maria was not living with Christine. Wow, she's living with her. She could tell that I had no idea about such a living arrangement, and she said that it was nice of Christine to help her mother out even though she hadn't been present in her life for 2 decades. I asked her about what she's talking about. She told me that Maria had lost her apartment by gambling it away. I couldn't believe that I was hearing this and asked her again what she's talking about. What she said next knocked me to the floor. Guys, she explained that Maria has always had an addiction to gambling, which was one of the reasons she actually left us because she was running away from some dangerous loan shark. She further explained that she had recently lost her home just to cover up for the debt. She then told me that she was looking for her because she owed her a lot of money and had promised to pay her back. So Maria has been lying. She told me that she was renting a small apartment nearby because she had gotten a new job this side. This made me wonder if Christine had any idea about this, because living with a gambler, it can be pretty dangerous. I asked Linda if she had anything to back up her claims. She took out her phone and showed me the loan that she had given Maria. She told me that she had first planned to confront Maria at Christine's wedding. If she had not been paid back by that, but decided against it because she did not want to ruin Christine's special day? Well, I asked Linda if she knew where Maria gambled, and she nodded her head, and I asked her, please, take me there, and she did. And boy, Linda was not lying about Maria's debt. What should I do with such information? Should I immediately inform my daughter? But what if she doesn't even believe me? What should I do? Should I still try to tell her? Update number 4. A week has passed since I found out about Maria's gambling problem, and I still have not seen her nor Christine. I wasn't even invited to Christine's final dress fitting, but I comforted myself. It was finally the day of the wedding, and when I arrived at the venue, I found everyone waiting outside. Christine rushed over to me, fuming with anger, and starts yelling at me. I asked her what's wrong. She tells me that the owner had just informed her that the wedding had not been booked there. I told her that the owner was correct. Josh walked over to me and asked, "Sir, what's going on?" I told them there's not going to be no wedding, and then proceeded to expose my daughter and ex-wife. I told everyone that was listening that Christine had been using me to pay for her wedding, yet didn't even invite my family, who had helped me to take care of her all these years. And Josh's mother asked Christine if I was telling the truth, and she was embarrassed. Josh's father just shook his head at Christine with disappointment. Maria stormed at me and said that I'm being selfish and petty by ruining our daughter's special day. Well, on cue, Linda appeared and Maria's face dropped. I looked Christine dead in the eyes and told her everything that her sweet mother had done. I told her that her mother had taken money that I had sent for certain wedding expenses for herself. Maria yelled that I'm lying. Okay, am I? I showed Christine all the documentation, and I told her if she doesn't believe me, she could check the bank app. And Christine did exactly that. Maria had been using her phone to transfer the money to herself. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she asked Maria why she would do such a thing. Linda put her hand on Christine's shoulder and confirmed what I had exposed, that her mother was a gambling addict. She then showed Christine the loan that she had given Maria, and Christine was devastated. Instead of admitting her mistakes and apologizing, Maria starts screaming, and she called me all sorts of names and even admitted to never wanting to be with me. and how Christine was a mistake that she wished that she would have gotten rid of when she could have. Every single person in the crowd was gasping in shock at what that was said. It made Christine break down, and it led to her break a few champagne glasses. She picked up another glass and was about to chunk it at her mother, but I pulled her back and pointed out that one of the broken glass pieces had cut Josh's mother on the leg. She tried apologizing, but Josh's mother just limped away. Josh looked at Christine and told her that he did not recognize her anymore, and that the wedding and engagement were off. He then followed his injured mother. Christine ended up breaking down in front of everyone. Maria just looked at her and proceeded to walk away. I sighed and walked over to Christine to comfort her. Despite everything that she had done, she was still my daughter, and as much as she deserved whatever punishment was coming her way, I still wanted to comfort her and show her that I was going to be here for her. Anyways, can you guys let me know if I took things too far by technically ruining my daughter's wedding just to teach her a lesson? Should I have handled this any different? Anyways, that's my last post. Let me know if I royally messed up, or did she deserve it?